Is that what you want to do?
Excessive branding.
Or we will just do some things to show at elections that we have done something? Kofi, let me come to you before. Because I'm reading about how many chip compounds that are going to be built. And I'm like, okay, so you may not like Akufo-Addo. You may not like his government. They've done bad things. But they started a project, a hospitals project. Can't we look at that, finish them up, rather than these chip compounds everywhere again, so that you can say, beat your chest at elections and say, we did this number of chip compounds?
That's our problem.
Yes.
Right? Our governments think that they need to come in and say big, lofty things. And from Free SH's time, when we started, being very forceful about what has been said in the manifesto, we said something. We said that, look, when they say it on a political platform, they don't really say it after the thinking. They say it because the moment requires them to say something bombastic. But after they say it and it catches, then they are forced to implement it. Then when they realize that they have to implement this, otherwise they'll be held to it, then they create something to represent what they've said. Then you end up with a document like this. And Prof. Bokpin is a fellow in Imani. We have had some discussions, but we have not actually analyzed this as Imani. I'm saying this because he said half of the things I wanted to say. And if we had met and said something about it, it would have come up officially that, but that's half. When you process development this way, you end up with a lot of branding, with a lot of glossy magazines, and then by the time you finish, nothing is achieved. However, there's a curious feature of all of them, NDC, NPP. They access the funds and they spend those funds. We run, and by the way, please, let me make this clear. I am not against the 24-hour thing. Sometimes we will sound critical and look, governance is hard. We live in a country which is not developed and unreasonably so. So every government must do something, be seen to be moving, and this is not a bad thing.
Yes.
What we are trying to say is that this is more of the same. And what we are trying to point out is, let me start this way. If it goes the way they've represented it in the glossy magazine 24-hour, we'll end up achieving less than 30%. Let me tell you what we are going to do. We run something called the Excuse Republic. We have already given the excuse for our underdevelopment. It's in the document. And that's what we say we all learn in primary school. Because of import, we import more. That's the excuse, republic. Okay? And when we create the excuse for the, we give the excuses for the underdevelopment, then we give excuses for fanciful ideas. Because we are not importing, we'll do import substitution. And we'll build factories, and we'll do this. 1D, 1F, many of the things said there are here. And if you trace it backwards, like Prof said, you see them there. So excuse for fanciful ideas, which we don't achieve. And then we make excuses for waste and stealing. That's the 4 billion you are hearing. Any analyst will tell you that if you look at some of the things that they've talked about, 4 billion is not going to cut it at all.
They're looking to start with a pilot with 50, firms.
That's always what happens. We are going to do a pilot. We are going to, that's what I'm saying. That's the excuse for waste and stealing. So they will access $300 million or so, okay? Did you see people go and dig dugouts and call them dams under 1D, 1F? That's the excuse for waste and stealing. And then we end up having proofs about them. Then we always do something. We create excuses for building institutions and passing new laws. You hear they are going to set up an authority.
Yeah, 24-hour economy authority.
I also don't do it. You don't need an... Look, my brother here was asking them in Parliament, where are the legal framework, whatever it is. We have enough laws in this country to deal with everything that we want to do without setting up new laws. Every time we just set up institutions, you know what? Ghana has a large government.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about from district level to regional level.
And the cost is huge.
And it's extra. They suck up 80% of all the revenue we make. And they're supposed to be taking care of me. I'm telling you, more than 50% of the citizens in Ghana live and do not detect much government intervention in their daily lives. Yes. And there are people outside Accra who the government doesn't know from birth to death. So don't build new authorities, then new offices, new furniture from China.
I thought, Kofi, that the IMF program included and compelled us to free setting up new institutions. So Akufo-Addo's government began, if you had a legislation you wanted to promote, and it meant that you have to set up another commission authority, they didn't take it.
IMF, we call them adult supervision.
Yes.
Okay, they come, they do the things we must do, which we know how to do. As long as they are providing the adult supervision and keeping their thumbs on us,
yes,
we do all of them. We always pass.
Yes.
We get out with flying colors. But you know what we do? They create parallel systems that bypass the IMF. And in fact, at a point, even after HIPIC, when we used to be going for those things, they come with conditionalities forcing us to do, that's the adult supervision. We said we won't go there again. We went to the international markets, borrowed 30 billion plus, and we ended up in trouble. So we create parallel systems that bypass the IMF. It's exactly what I'm saying here right now. Now look, we've been doing the same things and then when we finish, we end up having probes because all those pilots and things spend the money, we don't see anything happen, and then we make excuses for why these things did not happen. Okay, look, why are we not going to, for instance, pick up 1D1F, okay, and try and make it work? It's a good thing to build down.
Because we have reportedly spent 541 million in that, affecting about 169 enterprises. And all these enterprises, almost all of them are struggling.
Yes. So, and that's government money.
And they are asking, how do they fit into this?
How?
What next from here?
Why? Why are we not going to pick them up and connect them? All right? And let me say something. We don't have time to go through this, but I'm just going to make broad points. Back in 2010, okay, we came up with Atimani with a rubric. And in development policy, we have showstoppers and facilitators. Showstoppers, and I'm using the ordinary term. When we are talking consulting, we use different terms. But for the public, showstoppers are things that if you don't have, nothing will happen. All right? If they are not there, forget it. Nothing will happen. And then we have facilitators. If you don't have them, something can happen. But if they are present, things will be fast. Okay? Showstoppers. If you don't have water, all right, nothing will happen. All industries need water. If you don't have energy, nothing will happen. If you don't have good roads and telecommunications, nothing will happen. If you take health, health is crucial, but health is a facilitator. Okay, there are people in the rural areas that never go to.
Are you saying take care of these?
Can I
take care of these?
Wait.
Take care of these, and a 24-hour economy
will take care of itself.
Will take care of itself.
But let me wrap up on that.
Will spring up automatically.
Let me wrap up on that. See, again, that's why I said there's no time. You are talking about 6 billion. Okay, I can tell you because we did this work when Aqua Vitens Rand came here. Okay, and what we found out at that time was that we needed $2 billion plus 4 years to provide water to all the spaces and homes within Accra and Tema. Listen, $2 billion. And if you had all that $2 billion today, you need 4 years to do that because what? You dig trenches, lay pipes, that kind of thing. What I'm saying is this. If you take water, if you take roads, rail, and if you take energy alone, you will need more than 6 billion.
Right.
All right? If you take construction, today, go to East Legon, go to West Legon. And I'm using them because they are supposed to be the higher places. If you leave the main road, the road right next to it is a dirt road.
That's right.
Okay. So if you go, the roads that lead to go to industrial area today. Go to Tema. Yeah. The places where we are doing the production.
Yes.
Where you are taking the time. The roads are not good.
Right.
But here's the thing. Let me finish, please. I mean, take the 6 billion, okay? Take just wait. I know you are going to say it's there, but I beg.
No, it's not that it's there. None of this is tackling the issues.
Let me finish.
All right.
I said, take the 6 billion. Give yourself. Say we are going to do roads. We're going to do water. And we are going to strengthen our energy so that every rain doesn't lead to light off.
Thank you.
That alone for the 4 years will help us.
Yes,
the rest will take care of it.
And you don't need to set up an authority.
You don't need to set up an authority to do that.
I don't
You don't need new laws
So
to
let me
do
do
that.
this. One,